Adam Driver's sci-fi thriller getting new streaming home, nearly 2 years after $60 million disappointment. Winston's confirmed role as a mentor and father figure in the upcoming Ballerina spin-off movie makes a popular John Wick fan theory much less likely to come true. Set to be released on June 6, 2025, the spin-off from the world of John Wick, Ballerina is the first official John Wick movie outside the main series. It will star Ana de Armas as Eve McCarrow, a ballerina who's being trained as an assassin in the ways of the Ruska Roma. It's being directed by Live Free or Die Hard's Len Wiseman and written by Rebel Moon's Shay Hatton. The Ballerina cast will introduce some new blood to the John Wick universe, like Gabriel Byrne and Norman Reedus. But it's also bringing back some familiar faces from the previous John Wick movies. Angelica Houston will have a major role as the director, Keanu Reeves will have a cameo as Wick himself, and the late great Lance Reddick will make his final on-screen appearance as Karen. Ian McShane will reprise his role as the proprietor of the New York Continental, Winston Scott, and it sounds like it'll squash the best fan theory about his character's backstory. Winston's relationship with Ballerina's Eve sounds similar to his relationship with John Wick. In a recent interview, McShane shed some light on Winston's relationship with Eve in Ballerina. He confirmed that Winston has met her before the events of Ballerina and that he knew her mother and father, insinuating that he's known her since her childhood. McShane added that Winston has kept tabs on her over the years, so that when she needs his help at the beginning of Ballerina, he's ready to give it. It sounds like Winston has known Eve for most of her life, and he's something of a distant father figure to her. If Winston has provided that kind of mentorship to other characters, it makes his connection to John seem less unique and special. This is almost exactly the same as Winston's relationship with John. It's always been implied that Winston has been watching over John for most of his life and acts as a sort of father figure to him. This has fueled a popular fan theory that Winston is John's father. But the revelation about Winston's similar dynamic with Eve cools that theory, especially since John and Eve come from the same place. If Winston has provided that kind of mentorship to other characters, it makes his connection to John seem less unique and special. Winston's Ballerina role makes him less likely to be John Wick's real father. The fact that Winston has always looked out for John, and that John's parentage has been left a mystery, made it seem like Winston might be John's real father. But it turns out John isn't the only assassin that Winston has mentored. He has a similar relationship as a father figure to Eve. Now, it looks less likely that Winston is John's father. It seems more likely that Winston is just a very paternal person. He takes young contract killers under his wing, keeps an eye on them, and helps them out when they need him. Both John and Eve were raised to be killers by the Ruska Roma. It's possible that Winston has a history with the Ruska Roma that caused him to become protective of the kids that get trained as assassins there. John and Eve probably aren't the only Ruska Roma assassins that Winston is fatherly to. He probably has this kind of relationship with a bunch of them. His relationship with John has been the most eventful, thanks to John rubbing the high table the wrong way and getting Winston's hotel destroyed, but that doesn't mean he's his dad. Why Winston being John Wick's biological father is such a good theory. It's a shame that Ballerina is probably about to discredit this theory, because it's a great theory. For starters, it makes sense that Winston would be John's father. Out of all of John's close friends in these movies, Karen, Sophia, the Bowery King, Winston is the one with the deepest emotional investment in John. He constantly sticks his neck out for him and does everything in his power to make sure John has what he needs to survive. It's never been explained why Winston cares so much about John, but being his dad would explain it. Ballerina takes place between John Wick, Chapter 3, Parabellum, and John Wick, Chapter 4. Some things in the John Wick universe are best kept a mystery. If a prequel movie went back to show the impossible task that earned John his freedom, it would inevitably be more a letdown than if it was left to the audience's imagination. But Winston's close connection to John needs an explanation, and thanks to Ballerina, it's unlikely that the explanation will be fatherhood.